Welcome back, everyone, to the newest episode of One Box Brew. Tonight, we have arguably the Muna hero with the least support, Arjun and Spike. So let's go ahead and take a look at the hero, and we take a look at the decks, or the deck list, and then we'll get into some games. A reminder that One Box Brew is all about casual deck building, as if we are a brand new player who just picked up the game, or who is brand new to trading card games, and just kind of showing people in general ways you can think about the heroes and how you can build multiple decks out of one box and make them all feel different. So Arjun and Spike is a Muna hero that says exhaust, discard a card from your reserve. The next character you play this turn with hand cost 3 or less gains anchored. But if you don't want to think, I mean, that's exactly what this is for. You can just do what I did. But so, like I said, this is the Muna hero with the least support. I think everyone agrees with that. There's just not a ton of cards in the first set that really make this hero good. So, in the spirit of building all 18 heroes out of one box with strong limitations, my limitation was none of the characters can cost more than 3 from hand. So if you're looking at the list, it's really nothing costs more than 3 from hand. Now, do I think that this is a good idea, and do I think it's going to win us games? Not really, honestly. I think this is one of the decks that we're going to struggle with, but I've been surprised by other decks that I thought would be bad, so I'm not going to count it out just quite yet. We didn't open any Muna uniques in our box, so there's no uniques to show off, really. We do have a number of rares, maybe the highest number of rares we had in a one box brew, but it's really just go small and try to outlast them somehow. We do have a little bit more disruption than normal, and we do have some resupply because we need to discard things from reserve. This hero just really wants you to do a lot. Like, needing a card in reserve to discard and a 3-drop in your hand for its ability to even do anything in the first place is just asking a lot. But we'll see how far we can get with it, and then at the end maybe we'll have some insights into what this deck could need from future sets to improve. Sorry, I seem distracted. My cat is trying really hard to play with stuff on the table, but anyway, let's get into some games. We are here with some Arjun and Spike One Box Brew. Let's see how this deck that doesn't have a ton of support will handle itself. Oh, I wonder if like Muna just got like gypped, like printing error. Ooh, 2 Muna merchants is probably pretty good. Kodama. So I can say, I didn't mention in the deck list, but I don't think we have like a ton of plant synergies. I think this is, maybe we have enough plants for it to matter, but I think this is entirely because the limitation I put on myself was things had to be 3 or less mana. So that's probably what that's from. Yeah, we'll do this. I don't know. I also like haven't, besides that one game we played against that Ren and Orchard Orchid, words player like a few weeks ago, I haven't really seen many like Muna uniques, to be honest, which is kind of weird. Discard a card from reserve, huh? So 0, 2, 2. All right. Whoa. could try to block them. Do we think they have a 1-drop? Oh no, it gains a sleep. Alright, we'll just do this. I think Kodama might be my least favorite Muna card, even though it's probably a good card. It just throws me off every single time. Okay, so we kind of want the Axiom Reprocessor just to have things to discard with Arjun. I'm actually gonna get rid of the Kodama since I just said I don't like this card really. Okay. Man, I wish we had time to play the processor. But I kind of think we just... Do we think they just play the Hatter? That feels so bold. They could have other things too. Man, this is so... I could also discard this to Aloe Vera. And then... Then we'll resupply... on our... at noon anyway? Yeah, okay. Where this... I've never played this deck. So, I'm winging it a little bit. But I know an anchored Aloe Vera's can be pretty good. Especially if we draw something to like anchor it again. I would love to get this Axiom Reprocessor down. Oh. Well. I guess we're playing the same game. Alright. They have to be playing Lyra Festival. Yeah, we can pass. So we'll both resupply. Man, the Fen card advantage is just so crazy. Alright. Draw 2. Ooh. Here's technically a way to do it, but probably too late. I feel like Tough 2 would be pretty bad for them. I kinda... Alright, we're gonna get rid of the Dracana. This could just be misplay after misplay. Crazy, okay. Nurture, give some boost. That's like okay. It's not like the worst, it's not the best. Let's see what they do. Ooh, okay, so you're gonna Jin there, and then they probably Twinkle Twinkle our... They need a 2-drop with, or I guess they're winning already, so if we play something, they have to Twinkle Twinkle. Okay, so we will, yeah, we're gonna Axiom Reprocessor now. I don't know why it's not letting me, like, drag cards like normal. It's weird. Yeah, we just gotta let them move. I don't know. Again, playing a deck that's all where everything's 3-drop or lower is probably not the most useful thing to do. But this is why we make these decks, to see the limitations of where heroes are at right now. This also could have been like one of our worst matchups, because this Fen Crowbar is like a very good deck right now. And they just have so much card advantage. It's kind of crazy. I still think we might need the spindle if we can get it down and still do something else. Okay, that's not terrible. Okay, so how does this work? When you discard, turn with hand cost. Okay, so I think we can. This is not as big as I would hope it is. Oh, a unique Flamel. Let's read it. 2/4/2. With from reserve, you may return a spell from your reserve to your hand. When I go to reserve from the expedition zone, if I have one or more boosts, you may discard target permanent. We have a council in Bravos that has a similar ability to the second ability, but it's a lot easier to do in Bravos, obviously. Okay, so I'm thinking what we need to play to stop them from moving, but it's pretty tough. I think they're just gonna move anyway. So we're going to discard this, and then yeah, we're gonna play the aloe vera just to have it anchored for next turn. Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid of. We can't really stop that to begin with, so I think we do that. They're blocking us now. We're blocking each other right now. This is interesting. They could basically play anything, and that's like kind of bad for us. Alright. We'll just make them play something. We won't get this effect, but the reason I'm doing this is we just need the highest amount of mountain possible to... Oh, they're gonna Bifrost. Okay. That works too. Yeah. Or hooked. Never expect the hooked. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm trying to think as we're playing what Arjun and Spike needs, because we were talking about this I don't know, a stream or two ago, where currently the 3 or less cost cards in Muna, like, they either already anchor themselves so Arjun doesn't need to be there, or like they have no effect that matters, so there's no point in anchoring them. Like, aloe vera is really the only one I can think of that has an at noon effect that you would want to be anchored, that's not one that already anchors itself. So it's hard to think of any reason to play Arjun and Spike if you actually want a deck that like feels like it plays well. We do have some resupply though. Uh, I, yeah. Why would I not? Okay, that was weird. I don't know why it was like, are you sure you want to resupply? Yes, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so we have 5 mana. Okay, I think we can spindle now. We'll spindle from hand just so we have the one from reserve, and then, man, it's, yeah, I just don't know. We can't even, like, we have to beauty sleep, basically. That's so much. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I think they automatically win because beauty sleep from reserve is so expensive. Like, we could resupply and then play one of these, but that doesn't really do anything. Yeah, it's rough. Okay, I mean, we'll do this just to go through the motions, but they definitely got it. We just can't get to 7 water. We couldn't have, even if we had not played the spindle, like, we were still short. And like, yeah, I can resupply, but there's no reason why. Yeah. Alright, GG. They definitely got it. Alright, let's see what we got here. Got a daughter. Actually, like, not that bad if we can give it anchored. Got a way to give, a bunch of ways to give it an aloe vera. Okay, so I think we, being able to anchor the daughter multiple times would be good, but the resupply is probably more necessary. Ooh. Alright, we'll try this. This deck has been kind of tough for me to figure out what hands to keep because the cards are all so similar and like why they're here. Looks like we're playing Nevenka and Blotch, the dice rolling Lyra deck. We might have a chance. Lyra has a decent amount of disruption, unless this is the starter deck, which I still think we'd struggle against the starter deck, to be honest. Do I just... No, I don't think I'd daughter immediately. Maybe I do just daughter immediately. No, I feel like I resupply. This is probably bold, but we're gonna resupply. Into a cloth cocoon, okay. Not really what I wanted. Maybe they'll just pass. I was hoping for like a 1-drop that we could then... they're immediately gonna... Okay, they're immediately gonna sabotage. Okay, well, they're gonna move, but we're just gonna resupply again. We're not doing anything else. Okay. I don't think we're ever gonna control 3 or more characters, so it's okay. Yeah, I was talking a little bit about this between games, and Arjun's ability just feels bad. Like, other similar hero abilities in the game, you're still getting value for losing a card. So like Fen Crowbar, yeah, you put a card into mana instead of your hand and you don't ever get to see what it, like, you don't get to have the choice of what you're putting in mana, but it's still going into mana. You're still getting something out of it. Like Trace and Rossum wants you to have cards leave your reserve as well, but you still get to lose use those cards as you're losing them. and it's like you have way more agency about, like, not even agency, like you're just still using the cards. This is the one hero I can think of where it's like you just don't get, like, the card's gone, like you're not using it or anything. It's just straight up gone, and it doesn't feel good to play. Well, if they roll a 4 up, they'll sabotage again, which honestly is probably what I would do because it turns off anchored, and anchoring the daughter of Yggdrasil's probably the only play we got, to be honest. Interesting. Okay, we're still gonna do it. And then, yeah, we're gonna... we'll play over here. They'll get to draw a card, but a 5/5/3 for 2 turns in a row is pretty good. Obviously, I wish we had something else in reserve so that we could anchor the next one, or anchor the aloe vera or something, but we'll see. They could also have, like, Twinkle Twinkle or something and give it a sleep, and then we won't advance. I'm trying really hard to think if I've played another hero that felt as bad to play. And, like, even all of the other faction heroes we've played that everyone agrees lack support, they all felt fine to play, they just felt really jank. Okay, so maybe they're trying to get the Tanuki back to not risk the dice roll sabotage. Yeah, Arjun just feels bad to play. Like, it just... I think we'd do better if we just never used his ability. It's actually, like, pretty smart to do it on this, because if it goes back to reserve, like, you don't really mind because you're already winning and its support ability is good. Or they just discard it. Okay, I'm confused. Never mind. I don't know what's going on. Alright, we'll just put the spindle. We're just gonna risk it. And this is the situation where I wish we had something in reserve, or another way to give anchored, because yeah, having 2 anchored, we can Yangsu and Daughter of Yggdrasil though, because there's no point in doing this because we can't give it anchored, so we will... how does this work? We'll some new equipment or new characters to make him feel better. I'm trying to think of, like, what he needs to feel good, because the problem is his abilities inherently feel bad. Because I really can't think of another hero that's like, you get no value, you get no real value from this card. If he, honestly, if he gave something else besides anchored, it would maybe feel better. If he was like, discard a card from reserve, the next card you cast from your hand cost 1 less or something, honestly, I think that would be better than anchored. The problem is that, like, you're discarding a whole card from reserve for an effect that's just so easy to get in this faction. Like, there's just no reason to play him. For when cards are, that it becomes... Yeah, that would be good. Like if discarding became a positive, I'm skeptical that they'll ever add something like that to the game. But it would definitely be good. All right, we're gonna let them draw a card. Like whenever you discard a card, give a boost to something, like that would be cool. But it's still like pretty slow. Or if it was like, if he was like, discard a card from your reserve. Okay, this is how I wish it worked like Traced. So I wish it was like, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. I wish it was like exhaust, discard a card from reserve, put a counter on Arjun, and then if you play a character that's equal or less than the cost of the number of counters, it gets anchored. So that as you discard things, the cost you can play and give something anchored goes up. So like you still have to discard something and lose the value of that card, but you're not stuck at 3 mana, and the more you do it, the like easier it gets, cuz like if you're at 5 counters, anything you cast that's 5 or lower gets anchored. Like I feel like that's fair, especially if you're just losing the value of the reserved card. Maybe they tested that and it was too good, but this is just too, like, it just feels bad. I'd rather something be a little overpowered and feel good than like just feel bad. The other thing they could add is just way more cards that do something at noon that are 3 or less mana. But like, God, it would have to be really good. Like, okay. So we have to get rid of something, which means we can't do both things, and we can't anchored, which I don't even know if we're gonna anchored. So water, water. Hmm. Yeah, we'll get rid of the Yongsu. Like, I don't know, for how his effect currently works, and like I do think characters saying at noon something happens are the best things for his effect. It would really have to say like at noon draw a card or something, like at noon make make a make a tiny twig 1/1/1 character token with anchored or something. I don't know, like it would have to be so good. Okay, we're gonna keep the beauty sleep. So we can Daughter of Yggdrasil twice. Need little anchored seed tutors. Yeah, like it's, if there was like a 2-drop that said at noon draw a card, I'd be like, okay, it's good now, but I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. I really don't know what they could do. Making discards a positive could be cool, but I feel like that's still a struggle. So they can off you go something, which I would kind of expect them to do. So we are going to Daughter of Yggdrasil. We're not gonna anchor it. It is like, I'll say it's a, like I'm being kind of negative right now, but I'll say it's a good thing that I've played every hero now on or off stream, and this is the only hero where I've been like, this just feels bad to play. And like I didn't enjoy playing Waru, but it didn't feel bad. If like maybe it's hard to understand the difference, but I'm trying to play them as if I'm not myself and as if I'm just a, new person, like a random new person. I don't know why a new person would play this personally. Alright, we couldn't anchor it, but we'll block them hopefully. They could have, I think Twinkle Twinkle's 1 mana, but and I think like something being like underpowered is fine. Like there's a number of heroes that feel underpowered. I guess they're gonna try to give something a boost, but you can only give one, right? Yeah. But something feeling bad to play is bad. Okay. Is there a 1-cost card that gives another boost because they kind of need it? Okay. I mean, we'll take it. We did move. So I expect them to Asmodeus next turn, just to like try to get an advantage. And we don't really have anything going on. And obviously if you like have the cards to build like an optimized version of Arjun and Spike, it's gonna do better than this deck built out of one box. Like that's a given. I still don't think that deck feels good to play. I think it functions better, but I don't think it feels good. Okay, we will get rid of the spindle. Ooh, I can't wait till previews for the second set start. I'm not expecting that I'll get any of the preview cards because there's a lot of like bigger name people that will probably get most of them, and that's like totally fine. And like competitive players should get most of them if they do content. But it would be cool to get one. Okay, so wow. Okay, so we can do everything. Okay, so we can't like this is so rough because we're just like wasting cards. Yeah. I I talked about this like when they first asked for content creators to email them about like to give our information. And obviously like it would be cool if I got one, since I'm like really the only person who does like super casual wacky stuff with the game right now, and hopefully like more people will do this as more sets come out. But I do think at the beginning of the game it's fair if the company gives previews to more competitive leaning content creators. It it makes sense on a certain level to me to do that, and like I'm a super chill, calm, understanding person, so like I don't expect to get one. All right, awesome. We can beauty sleep the. I kind of take it based on numbers for more eyes on it. Yeah. My gameplay videos do like okay on YouTube, so there's always a chance, but also like I expect a lot of French content creators to get previews since it is a like a game from France, which I think is cool. Like I think if they can give it to a lot of international people, that would actually be really cool. Kind of wish I wasn't beauty sleeping this, but I can beauty sleep it next turn, I guess. Oh, please tap and send it back to reserve. I don't know why they're... Okay, it's gonna be an 8/8/8 that I beauty sleep next turn. I don't know what they're doing. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. You know it's a good game when you're not enjoying the hero of the deck, but you're enjoying the game anyway. Wow, this might have been the like worst thing we could have possibly drawn. uh, honestly, I think I discard this and just whatever we resupply is what we resupply. I don't know what to do. It's pretty bad. 1.5 cards versus 4 2.5 cards. It's crazy. They're thinking a lot, but I have to imagine that they... Yeah. Alright, well, we're gonna put this to sleep immediately because I'm never gonna get to an 8/8/8. They might just have another one, which would certainly be bad. And then we're just gonna resupply and hope we draw something. I don't know. Wow, you're rolling now. Okay, you're gonna give something a boost. Okay. If they pass, that's crazy. They can't pass. They have to play something. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So they get anchored. Alright, well, we will resupply. And we'll... Arjun the Harvest to anchor our guy. Yeah, the problem is they're gonna have 13, 13, 13 on this side, so like, we're just never gonna win this side. So, we're gonna resupply again. Man. Yeah. I really wish this was resupply from reserve. But, yeah, we'll just play this on the right side. Or if Arjun just like lets you put an anchored counter on anything that was like in an expedition already that was 3 or less hand cost, that would be okay too. Because then you could like... you could play something that gives itself anchored and then like discard something to give it anchored again like every turn without going through all these hoops. I think that would be fine. Because then like the sneezer shrooms and stuff are suddenly like really good in the deck instead of them needing to go back to reserve and then come back out. You can just keep it up every turn. I think that would be okay too. Because the at noon cards would still be like the best cards in the deck. Yeah, this is pretty rough. Okay. Yeah, we're just not gonna win this side. So we just have to try to win this side. It's so fun. Why couldn't we put the Muna Merchant into reserve? That would have been so much better. I do think Muna has the worst like natural disruption. Sleeping things doesn't feel good when you're not like winning. Okay, so yeah, we don't even this is kind of awkward. We don't even like really want to anchor the Muna Merchant, to be honest, because we want the resupply. We don't need to anchor this. So yeah, we're just gonna play this. Is like I think that this is like a good example of, again, I'm trying to think. Waru is kind of like this, where sometimes deciding to sleep something is hard if you're playing Waru. This is kind of similar, but I keep finding myself in situations where anchoring something is like the worst decision I could make. Because a 3-2 sticking around isn't gonna matter, but me seeing another card next turn might matter. And just like having numbers might matter. They do have a ton of mana and a ton of cards. But so like if we could have anchored the Sneezer Shroom with Arjun's ability, like I would have easily used it because then it would have been worth it. Even though it's just a normal Sneezer Shroom, but right, yeah, they definitely got it. We just don't have the stats. The Muna Merchant, if it was a 3-3, but it's not, which is fair. It has flow from hand. They definitely got it. And they off you go me. Just rubbing it in. No, it's fine. Oh, smart. GG. Welcome back, everyone. Those were some games. I know I say that every time, but I think this was the most accurate. Those were some games we've had so far. So Arjun and Spike are heroes that don't have a ton of support right now, but I think more than that, I talked about a lot in the second game. They just don't feel good to play. They're the only heroes in the game where they have a they make you have a disadvantage where the reward you get from the disadvantage just doesn't feel worth it. Like I mentioned, Fen Crowbar are another hero where technically the disadvantage is you're not choosing what goes into mana, but you're still getting mana, which is an integral part of like playing the game. Muna has so many ways to give anchor to your characters that a lot of them don't have limitations, that just getting an anchored counter from Arjun's ability just never felt worth doing, and I kept trying to use it and it just felt awkward a lot. And I know that's partially because we're building a box or a deck out of one box and we're very limited in our card pool. And I think if you build an optimized version of Arjun and Spike, you could do okay, but I'm pretty convinced it won't feel good while you're doing it. And it's hard to think of solutions for this, but we did talk about it a little bit. And a couple things that the game could have that would make it just feel better is one, just way more characters that have at noon abilities that are 3 cost and lower, so that there's more reasons to want to anchor things more often. Because a lot of the time right now, you're just trying to anchor your biggest thing. But when you're limited to 3 mana, you're limited to the size things can be. So if there was just more at noon abilities that kind of advanced your game plan in other ways, maybe more resupply, maybe just straight up card draw, maybe like give boost to other characters or give anchored to other characters at dusk or something. I don't know, like just more abilities that trigger at different parts of the day so that it's worth anchoring things. And the other thing we kind of talked about during one of the games is if the game added cards that made discarding a positive, so that when you discarded something with Arjun, instead of just straight up losing the card for 0 value, you got like a boost on a character, or you got to resupply in its place or something. And it could be something as simple as like the first time you discard a card from your hand or from reserve, this happens. And so it, it's not happening constantly, but it's just like a once a day effect or something, I think could make this hero a lot more enjoyable to play, because it really feels like the only hero that has a big downside and like not a big enough upside for what you're losing. Um, the games were still fun. This game's always fun, but it's just I can't really recommend this hero to new people because it just doesn't feel good to play on like a base level. If you really like the hero though, and you've built decks and you've had fun playing them, I'd love to see the deck list in the YouTube comments. Hello YouTube, I forgot to talk to you all stream. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, like I'd like to see people's list if they've built it and enjoyed it, and tell me what you enjoy about it, because I wasn't getting it, and that's okay. I'm trying to play as if I'm a new player, and it just kind of felt bad. I won't lie. But feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube if you want to. It's always appreciated. Thanks to everyone who joined the stream and watched the games and chatted. Not sure what deck we'll play next, but we're slowly getting through all 18 heroes for the One Box Brew series, and we'll keep getting through them throughout the end of the year. And I hope everybody's having a good time. I hope you're having a good life, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. I'm waving, but I forgot to say bye bye.